Hey everyone. Well, today we're going to be swapping out the front drum brakes on my 1973 Ford Courier for disc brakes that I salvaged from a wrecking yard off a 1982 Mazda B2000. So basically a second gen of this car where they had upgraded the fronts from drums to discs. So much better stopping, much better performance overall. The existing drum brakes on here were, the wheel cylinders were impossible to adjust. They were so old, and just the whole braking system was was pretty dated. Trying to stop in reverse was a joke. So today's mission is fix that. So what are we doing? Let's take a look. I've already done the other side, so I think I've got this pretty down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off, take the drums off, take the shoes, and the hub, pull everything back to the spindle, and then this will be the new backing plate, which then these calipers, the braking actually mounts to, like that. And this is the new rotor. New is the word. Sparkly new. And of course, the bearings, so I repack them. And it's really pretty simple. I mean, you literally pull it back to the spindle and screw in 4 bolts for the backing plate, put the hub on, mount the caliper to the back plate. The trickiest part is getting the old fitting off the brake line, because of course that's been on there for 47 years. All right, so I'm going to do a time lapse and this is probably a good time to take a break. The new rotor and caliper are on. So you can see it's a bit fiddly, right? Like that bottom caliper bolt there. I don't know what I spent the last 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get that thing in and torque down to 85 pounds. So next is kind of my least favorite part of all of this, but probably requires a close-up. If we go in here, you can see, let's back out. Coming from the new caliper, here's our brake line. Right, so that brake line needs to replace that old one, running to the old shoes. So the trick with this is this fitting right here that comes from the master cylinder to this banjo clip and flexible brake hose has been there for 47 years and hasn't moved. So making it move is a bit of an art. So I've been soaking it in Blaster, BB Blaster, lubricating, penetrating oil for the past 3 days and applying intermittent heat. But I found the only way to do it is to really get it hot with the torch, and then it'll crack. So I'm gonna give a go at that, but first I'm gonna take a break and we'll be back. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing to crack. I don't know if that was long enough. Let's see if it starts to feel it. Now that felt like moving metal more so than moving threads. Okay, so that means more work. Well, I'm going to work on this. You get a sense of what this is all about. All right, well, that's a job done. The new hub and rotors on, caliper, and I got that brake line run. So that's what the new package looks like. Pretty cool. Up here, you can see I got that fitting run to the new brake line. And I will tell you, I've been working on this car now for, about 6 months? And one thing I've learned is that rusty bolts or brake line fittings or all of these things all require heat. It's really the only way to get them out. And, you know, you can soak them in Kroll or liquid wrench penetrating oil or Blaster all you want. And I think it might nominally helps a little, but there's just nothing like heat. You know, getting that torch on there and just getting it hot. It turns all that sort of cruddy buildup inside there, the rust, etc., into a little bit of like a muddy liquid that you can just feel sort of get some plasticity to it, where you can actually move it and get a crack on the bolt, or even just it just comes loose. So I think that's one of my big learnings on this is heat. Always go to heat before even going to, vice grips or destruction. All right. Well, I'm going to put the rest of this together, put the wheel back on, and we'll go from there. So the last step in this process, well, it's not the last step actually, second to last step, is from the brake master cylinder for the front brakes, which is this one. There is a check valve in here that is meant for the drum brake. So it's apparently always providing or forcing a bit of pressure on the plates, 15% or something like that. And with the discs, you don't want that. So that needs to come out. So this comes off, and the little spring and a little stopper, I believe, from the pictures I've seen, lives in there and needs to come out. So that seems to me like it's a bit messy. I guess I'll try to evacuate as much fluid from the cylinder at first, the little siphon I have, and then put something under there to catch the flood. And pull that thing out, reseat that, and then the last step is bleeding the brakes, which is always fun.